So today is a major crunch day. Here's what's going on. Long before I started this job, I started another job that was up in Morongo Valley. And the one that's up in Morongo Valley, I expected this one to be done in enough time to be able to get up there to get started on that one. In the meantime, my crew is down in Temecula finishing up a hardscape job. And I've been doing everything that you see here on this job by myself with the help of Justin, who's one of my lead guys, who's been with me for a little bit over 3 years, and a little bit of help from the guys pulling the liner, and another dude, Alan Chaddock, came out from Oklahoma for a couple of days and we strapped some boulders, which was a lot of fun. What does he own? He owns a company called Rockin Tulsa. Really great guy. Anyway, so here's what's happening is, in the meantime, I've got to get this wetland installed over here. Today's Wednesday. Wednesday? Yeah, today's Wednesday already. So I've got Thursday and Friday to finish getting this wetland and getting this stream done. I don't see too much reason why we can't get that done because the wetland's finally dug. If you don't know what a wetland filter is, come on over here, I'll show you. This giant hole here, this is the filter for this entire pond. And the way that it works, in basic terminology, is that the water gets pumped down to the bottom. It rises through a series of diffusers. We call them aqua blocks. Those are those milk crate looking things that are on the patio over here. And then on top of that, we got boulders, smaller size rock, little tiny pea gravel, and plants on top. And what happens is the water comes up and rises through that. It purifies the water. If you've been following my YouTube channel or my Instagram or my Facebook page, you see that our water is like gin. I mean, it looks like the fish are just like literally floating. This is the technique that I use. But believe it or not, the secret weapon to effective wetland filtration isn't just this. Check this out, I'll show you what it is. So I get asked a lot, how do I get my water so clear at Columbia Water Gardens? It's really something I've learned over time, and it's a method that I've been perfecting, and it's this wetland filtration. I've already shown you basically how a wetland filter works, but I'm going to give you the major secret ingredient. The secret ingredient is right here. It's oxygen. If you look at this diffuser, you can see that the diffuser has all these micro holes. These are laser cut into this membrane that wraps around this diffuser. And these laser cut micro holes diffuse a tremendous amount of oxygen into the water column, which is healthy, of course, for the fish because they're swimming in the pond. But also equally and questionably more important than that is the fact that the oxygen from here is being blown by that jet right over there, and it's being picked up by the skimmer right over here. So intentionally what we've done is we've created this flow, this current of oxygen that is intentionally being picked up by the skimmer and being forced into the very bottom of an almost 5 foot deep wetland filter. Pushing that much oxygen to the bottom of the wetland filter, what it does is it feeds the bacteria colony with the oxygen that it needs to be highly aerobic. And as that bacteria colony, which is now highly aerobic, goes up through layers of boulders from big to small to little tiny rocks like this, to the root system of the plants that are grown through that bed of gravel, everything now is in perfect harmony. I can't tell you how many times we've built a pond for somebody and their fish simply look like they're floating in suspended animation. And that is exactly what this customer is going to get. We're not using an ultraviolet light. We're not using chemicals. All we're doing is we're working with nature instead of against her. So at this point of the job right now, we're building the retaining wall that's going to frame in the stream bed that is going to be containing the fountainscape that I talked about earlier. It's a common mistake for people when they're building a retaining wall to build like small rocks like this. These are what we would refer to as like 18s, you know, where they're 18 inches by 18 inches by maybe 12, you know, to 14. In this particular case, we have this rock that looks like it's really nicely planted here level with the ground. And we're at about 8 to 10 inches worth of travel, which is perfect for the width of the stream that's going to be holding the fountainscape up above. What you don't see from this angle is that this rock actually goes all the way down 2.5 feet to the floor. This is a beast of a rock, and we have to build like that, not just because it gives a sense of permanence, but also because it also just naturalizes. So what's gonna happen next after the fountainscape is installed, the stream, the falls are put together, is we're gonna plant this up. And out here in Southern California, typically plants are gonna sleep the first year, they're gonna creep the second year, then they're gonna leap the third year. I give credit to certified aquascape contractor Tom Deek, and I believe that he gave a speech on that at Pandemonium a few years ago, but it really holds true. But out here in Southern California, we're gonna see by the end of year number 1 where this really is gonna be just leaping. So we're gonna put some jasmine to go up and over the edge of this, and we're gonna put some bacopa to go up and edge over here. And so that by the end of year number 1, all this hard rock feel here is just nicely softened up by some lush green ground cover, flowering, little tiny white flowers. It's gonna be beautiful. So let's keep going. A lot of people are asking me back here, hey Carl, where do you get your driftwood? You want to know? Come on, I'll show you. So I've got a little bit of a honey hole for where we get our driftwood. It's important for that driftwood to be dry, by the way. If it's wet, if it's freshly cut logs, then what ends up happening is the tannins in the log, they'll change the color of the water. So what I like to look for is I like to look for logs that have been cut down, broken down, fallen down, whatever, but it's also got to be distressed. I look for stuff that's rolled for quite a distance, that's been sun-baked, that's dry, that's light. And I've got a honey hole here, and it's on the way towards Forest Falls, which is a really great little niche. It's a hamlet community in Southern California. This area, incidentally, almost went completely up in flames back in September of 2020. And it was called the El Dorado fire. And what started it was, and it gained nationwide attention, what started it was a gender reveal party on the other side of the hill. So as you can see half this mountain up ahead of us is completely charred. All these pine trees, and it completely changed the landscape. But the beautiful thing about what comes out of that level of destruction is the fact that we have a great source of wood now that we can put into our water features, and it doesn't go to waste, and it's recycled into people's backyards. To give you an idea where really great driftwood starts, I'm going to bring you to the birthplace of where it comes from. And it doesn't just land here. It actually begins way upstream, up at the top of that creek and around the bend, which is several miles upstream. So the area that I'm in is an area that's called Mill Creek. Now, Mill Creek floods every year. It's like always on the news. There's always things happening here. The reason why is because you have this huge hillside here. You have another huge hillside over here, and all this rain just kind of hits like a big funnel, and boom, when it rains, it floods. These boulders here are smooth because they've tumbled miles downstream from way uphill. Same thing happens with the driftwood behind me. Now, I'm not going to harvest driftwood from this location. This spot that I'm in is actually inside of a natural preserve, and it's a protected place, and the owners of the preserve have signs up saying, please don't take from this particular area. And so what we do is we take our driftwood from way down creek, way over there, several miles down the way. And the benefit of that also is that the wood is beat up, it's gnarled, all the bark has been taken off the tree. And by the time we get it, it just really, really looks nice and clean, dried out for years, rolling in this riverbed, flood after flood, boulders crashing and crunching against it. Come on down here, let me show you this creek right now. You hear that? Do you hear that? Dude, that's a trout. I'm telling you right now, that is a fish. Let's get him. Get this guy. There he is. Oh, dude, he's huge. There he goes. Oh, there's another one over here too. Here. Oh. I got him. Got him. Look at that trout. Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna put him over here in this pool. There you go. There you go. So this is Snow Creek, and this creek is fed miles up here from an area that's called Monkey Falls. Also, you got Forest Falls. You got Mount San Gorgonio crashing down. You got all this snowmelt that hits up at about 10, 11,000 feet. That's almost a permafrost throughout the year. And it feeds this so that the water temperature is perfect for trout. It's this riverbed is a huge area for recreation during the summer months, further downstream, of course. And like I said earlier, it's a perfect spot, absolutely perfect spot to just look at nature and explore, and also to study the way that nature lays out their waterfalls. Like, check this area out right over here. I hate to do this in this video, but this is kind of a cool spot. When the water is running, this is what I would refer to as a horsetail fall or a pinch point, because what happens is that this pinch between this boulder and this boulder flows through, goes in between these two rocks, dumps a lot of water into this area, and you can tell that this was recently flowing because all the sand's been blown away around these rocks down here at the bottom. So we'll call that a pinch point or a horsetail fall. There's so many things to explore, but I wanted to bring you up here to let you see where the birthplace of driftwood is. I had no idea that we were going to get trout. This little guy down here hanging out underneath me. What a fun day. What a fun day. I love my job. Dude, was that a cool thing that just happened or what? I had no idea that we were gonna go and see native trout in that stream. It's like, it's too shallow. It's not the right time of year for it. But I guess with all that rainfall that we have and the snow melt that's up the river this way, I guess it kind of makes sense, but pretty easy fishing for a guy that knows how to pick up live koi with his hands. That guy didn't stand a chance. So we're gonna stop at this point with this video here, and the reason why is because there's so much work that's left to be done. We got 2 patio covers going up, we got concrete going up, we got all the plantings going in, planter beds, we got outdoor lighting. There is so much more that needs to be done. And if you want to see that finished video, then you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You need to smash that bell button, that way you're notified when that video comes out. You also need to check us out in Facebook under Columbia Water Gardens, or check us out on Instagram at Columbia H2O. But in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope that you've seen some really cool things, maybe gives you some ideas of what you could be doing in your own backyard. I'm Carl with Columbia Water Gardens, and I'm here to remind you that attention to detail, fountainscapes, driftwood, all of this stuff really, really matters. Happy ponding.